Hey guys, welcome back. So we're actually on day 15. So today I wanted to go over just really quickly a mist effect that Jamie Finn did again. So popped back up on my YouTube with the YouTube algorithm. So we're gonna do Jamie Finn's kind of like mist filter effect deal thing. He had kind of 3 of them. I'm really not a fan of 2 of them, and he even mentions in the video that the 3rd one's the best one, and I totally agree with that. And it's also, I think, the most simple one and easiest to remember. But let's kind of dive in really quick. I have a clip from we shot this clip a ways back. I think about a week ago. About a week ago we shot this clip. Yeah, it was a week ago. So about 7 days ago we shot that sequence or whatever. So I'm gonna jump back into there and then try to add just a little bit of a mist filter effect. So basically, if you don't know what a mist filter is a filter that really kind of blooms the highlights, can kind of clean up some things, kind of almost like blur things together, reduces the contrast a little bit, but also like really makes a flattering skin tones, kind of smooths out the skin, blooms the highlights, and then maybe takes away some of that digital kind of sharpness look, right? So that's basically a mist filter. I use it for a lot. I actually use a mist filter and mist ND filter for when I'm doing like portraits at weddings and stuff like that. So that's what I kind of use mist filters for. I don't have like a regular mist filter I throw onto the lens. So if I wanted to do like a mist effect in the like indoors, for example, I would probably have to do it like this, like I'm doing right now. So in post, right? So let's kind of dive in. Hopefully I get it right because there's 3 of them to remember. They're not super complicated, so I should be good. So let's dive right in here. I've got, let's see, these clips here. Let me see if I can pop myself. Yeah, we're gonna go in this corner. I'm just gonna move all my nodes down. This is my basic color grade. I just did a really quick color grade just to get something that just looks better than that. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't look any better. I just feel like it needs some more contrast. And then I kind of dropped the gamma down. So we're going to add in options S to get another node. Okay. So the first method he showed was basically... Oh, I got a haircut, by the way, today, guys. I don't know if you guys care or not. Finally got a haircut. My hair was getting kind of raggedy. So typically when you go into blur. So let's kind of click on it. So there's this blur tab. You guys can't see where I'm pointing. Where my mouse is, there's a blur tab in the color page. So we're in the color page of DaVinci Resolve. Go to that blur tab, and then you're going to go and you can like adjust this radius, and it's going to change sharpness basically. So down increases sharpness, up decreases sharpness. So reset that. So we actually want to shift it over. If you go over to like the top here, is like this option of blur, sharpen, and mist. We're gonna hit this mist one here. So now what we can do is we can drag this down. It's actually gonna end up sharpening the image. Drag down just a little bit. But now we want to go down to this mix. And once you hit 50, it gets rid of the effect. And it actually starts to kind of like blur it. So let me just switch this on and off now. I don't see much of a difference. It's super subtle, I guess. We're only at 41. Let's go down further. So now let's switch it on and off. We're at 0 now. Can you see the difference there? It's definitely more blurred. It just kind of looks like it's blurred the entire image though, so I was not a huge fan of this method. So let's reset this node grade. Instead of doing that, we're gonna hit Options L, and that's gonna create a layer node with a layer mixer right here. So what we wanna do with this layer node, this bottom one, click on the bottom one. And then we're gonna mix them soon here. So the bottom one's kind of like priority in DaVinci Resolve. So it's like the top one. It's like the top layer, like the one you're gonna see, right? So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go in and we're going to add this Gaussian blur. You're gonna add that to that node. So now it's gonna blur this screen here. A couple of things, just pull this advanced menu down. This should be on reflect. If it's on black, you're gonna get weird black borders. Replicate is all right. Reflect, that's what you want to use. So what we want to do is we want to basically, you can adjust the intensity right here of it. So if you like adjust all the way up, it's all the way up, right? So this doesn't look great, but we can essentially go into here, and then there we go, composite mode, and you want to go screen. So now it kind of brightened that image quite a bit. So there's a couple ways that we can kind of go about this. I don't remember what Jamie actually did. So let's see if I can figure this out. Could lower, I think he lowered the saturation all the way down there. You could just lower the overall saturation. I think what Jamie actually did is just messed around with the curve to add contrast, I believe is what he did. So if you want to like lower the intensity of the light, you can grab this point here. This is our whites. And then it's also going to drop highlights and everything, really. And see how you can lower that intensity? So we could do something like that. Let's say I wanted to soften those blacks, just like you could do that. You can also deepen them, like because like this effect will soften up the image quite a bit, like those darker portions. So if you want to drop those back down, you just move this slightly this way. If you drop this all the way down, I feel like it almost basically gets rid of the effect. So that. So let's just turn it on and off, right? It kind of blooms everything a little bit, softens everything out. So this method wasn't bad, honestly. So, but this one can have the most, I think Jamie said it, like it has the most dramatic effect, which makes sense, right? Because Gaussian blur is a pretty powerful blur, honestly. And then we're doing the screen, and the screen kind of, it just overall will brighten up that image quite a bit. So that's that method. Here's my favorite method. Let's go into my favorite method. Okay, so we got this node right here. Go into effects. I actually use this method all the time, but I don't use it necessarily, not all the time. I think I even used this in a previous video, but you could just add a glow. So add a glow to this, and that should be able to bloom it. So let me just dive in and kind of show some cool things that I learned that Jamie showed in the glow. So you can just do like glow alone, or shiny regions, right? So shiny regions being like pretty much what's blown out right now. But then you want to adjust this first, the shine threshold. So now we can be a little bit more selective of what we want to grab. Let's say we don't want to grab a lot of the darker part of the image, so we're going to exclude all that. So we have our shine threshold set. And then spread's basically going to be the intensity of the effect, right? So we can adjust the spread. I think he was working in an older version, so they had brightness. You're going to have basically that. I think this section right here replace all of the brightness section. So we have gain. We basically just the normal overall brightness, right? And gamma, so it's not quite the same as gain. So gain, like if you kind of see, watch the waveform down here. Let's actually switch this to non-colorized. Okay, so now it's not colorized waveform. So now we can kind of just look at the luma. So spread, you can kind of see how if you just look at the waveform, you can see what it's doing, right? So that's a lot sharper, right? Spread, and then gain. So like look how it just kind of raises the whole waveform, right? And then gamma, watch what happens. It's kind of starting to stretch it. So it raises it, but it also stretches. So it's basically taking the center point and moving that more on, like, if you look at like this right here, like this is basically what gain's doing, right? See how it's very similar? But gamma grabs all of this. So it grabs this point and raises it. And then this, what's it? Command Z. Okay. So it grabs this point and raises it, and then grabs this point and just raises the whole thing. So that's what, this is what you're doing with gain, right? Okay, so let's drop that back down. Just wanted to demonstrate that real quick. And then, yeah, I mean, that's looking pretty good. So now we just got to go into here, and we can go back to glowing image. So I feel like it's a little bit too intense. So the spread, we can mess around with that a little bit. Don't mess with it. There we go. Gain, I feel like I'm gonna drop my gain down and do this kind of little dance with the gamma and just bring it up just a little bit. It's not quite reacting like it does in the color wheel, so we're gonna have to bring gain up just a little bit, and then bring the gamma. There we go. Okay, and we can also do saturation too. So if you wanted to like add a ton of saturation, I don't know. I probably would keep this pretty low. Don't want to be adding a whole lot. Oh, honestly, overly saturated stuff, not ideal. The invert the effect if you want. You can change the opacity of it, so that will change like the intensity of it. Like, look at that. That's like full blast. So if you wanted to even like fine tune a little bit more, you could do that. You could also go to global blend down here and actually how much of the effect is being blended in, right? Bright region recovery. I don't think Jamie had this option. So this is like highlight recovery. You can see it's working just a little bit down here. If I over brightened it, I bet you this would actually make more of a difference. So let's like overdo it. Whoa. Bright region recovery. Oh, that actually didn't do too bad of a job. I mean, you can see if the image is falling apart a little bit, but I like way overdid the gain. So if we drop the gain down a little bit, that's actually not a bad slider right there. There's without, with. So that's kind of cool. Let's keep that on. Why not? Before, after, and it's really, that's like really intense. So honestly, I'd probably drop this blend. There we go. Now just bloom just a little bit, gives a little bit extra to the image. So I don't like to overdo that kind of stuff. I still feel like you need some sort of sharpness and stuff in the image. So that's why I like the glow. You just have a lot more control over everything. The blend and all that. And I mean, there are ways to do it with like the screen, with the layer mixer and the screen. You could change like, you could change some of the like that around as well. Or like, as we were showing with like the contrast, that obviously makes a difference when you start blending things together. Contrast is normally a good thing to go to kind of adjust some things if it's like light based, right? So, but yeah, that's all I've got for this one. Try to make it pretty quick. I probably overdid the talking again on this one. I always feel like I talk your guys' ears off, but I hope that I go deep enough to where you can see kind of my thought process behind all this and kind of what I've learned when I watch these videos and learn this stuff. This one wasn't like super complicated. I probably could have figured it out on my own. I mean, there are some aspects that he definitely threw out that I probably would have thought about, but yeah, it was. I thought it's going to really add to like if you do a lot of like weddings or very dreamy sequences, like where you're taking 60 frames, slowing it down or something like that. And you're shooting in the sunlight like this outdoors, I think this is a great effect. Or if you wanted to kind of bloom some lights to make it look a little bit more dreamy, like if you want a really sharp image, obviously in clinical image, don't do this, right? But do this for like that more dreamy, cinematic kind of feel if you're going for that look. So kind of more like almost like a filmy kind of look, right? So this is actually one step into creating like a film look, right? Maybe I should do a film look. Maybe I'm doing a film look. I might be doing a film look tomorrow, so stay tuned. or the next day. But there are so many different film looks, so maybe I'll do that. But yeah, that's what I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate all the subscribers. We're definitely growing very slowly. Maybe not very slowly, but slowly. But it's great to see. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it, and catch you day 16.